It is not the end of Michael Bublé's support for Sofronio Vasquez. It continues beyond The Voice USA. During the episode of Fast Talk with Boy Abunda that aired on Thursday, Sofronio stated that the Canadian coach of the singing competition had assured him that he would be able to assist him throughout his career. "He promised me that he would not stop helping me until I reached 1 billion, Sofronio stated to reporters. During the same session, the former contestant on Tawaging Tanghalan stated that he decided to be a member of Team Bublé on The Voice USA because Michael has been his favorite singer ever since he was a child. In addition, Sofronio said in the broadcast that Michael had discussed his former connection to Christine Hermosa with him. Earlier, Sofronio had a triumphant return to his hometown on It's Showtime, where he gave a performance of his winning work, A Million Dreams. As Sofronio Vasquez reclined back in his chair, he gazed intently at the trophy that was now shining brightly on the shelf next to him. This trophy was a symbol of his journey and success as the winner of The Voice Season 26. His fingers absent-mindedly touched the edges of the polished wood base, as if he were trying to firmly establish himself in the understanding that he had achieved something. On the other hand, he was not thinking about the acclaim that had been given during the conclusion or the confetti that had been thrown at him. Instead, their attention was drawn to the assurance that was provided by his coach, the one and only Michael Bublé, a person whose direction had been an essential component in his meteoric rise to public prominence. In the end, the path to triumph had been anything but simple. Beginning his journey in his humble village in the Philippines, where he had spent his childhood singing in church choirs and participating in local festivals, Sofronio's odyssey began. Despite the fact that prospects were limited, his voice, which was velvety smooth and full of richness, had always been his most valuable asset. In the moment when the tryouts for The Voice were announced, Sofronio viewed it as his opportunity to make a name for himself and to share his music with the entire world. As soon as Sofronio participated in his very first blind audition, he immediately captured the judges with his heartfelt performance of Home, a song that Michael Bublé himself had made famous. An expression of wonder spread across the faces of the judges as they turned their chairs around as the final note lingered in the air. However, it was Michael's fervent appeal that ultimately resulted in the agreement being reached. Michael had said, "Sofronio, you have a gift that is going to touch people's hearts." Sofronio had responded this statement, "You have a gift, and I want to assist you in developing it and bringing it to the world. Okay, let's work on this together." The decision that Sofronio made to hire Michael as his coach felt like a sign from the universe, and from that point on, he plunged himself into the competition with unyielding determination. Every week, his performances drew the crowd to their feet. His renditions of classic songs such as Feeling Good and Cry Me a River demonstrated his variety and the emotional depth he possesses. However, beyond the music, what actually distinguished Sofronio from other artists was his genuineness. Not only did he sing with talent, but he also sang with a real honesty that struck a chord with millions of people. Michael was more than just a coach behind the scenes, he was also a buddy and a trusted advisor. Michael would tell him, "You're not just here to win a show," and he would say this, "This is where you come to establish a career and to convey your story via the music that you create." During the flurry of preparations, live events, and media frenzy, those words became Sofronio's mantra, a steadying force that carried him through the chaos. As the conclusion of the story approached, Sofronio was aware that it was his time to shine. He selected a collection of his favorite tunes, which ultimately resulted in an original composition that he and Michael had written together. There was a perfect blend of meaningful lyrics and soaring melodies that drew the audience to tears during the performance, which was thrilling. Sofronio had a hard time believing that he had won when the host announced his name as the winner. He was overcome with a mixture of happiness and thankfulness as he stood on the stage, and Michael joined him for a joyful embrace. The life of Sofronio underwent a transformation in the weeks that followed his victory. In addition to being a talented young man from Manila, he had evolved into a rising star who had a promising future ahead of him. Nevertheless, in the midst of the frenzy of interviews, recording sessions, and public appearances, one thing remained consistent. Michael's commitment to assist him in navigating this new phase. The phrase, "winning the voice is just the beginning," was something that Michael shared with him during one of their sessions of strategy. "The talent and the heart are both in your possession. For now, we will make sure that everyone is aware of it." In accordance with his promise, Michael connected Sofronio to established members of the industry, assisted him in securing a record deal, and worked with him on the production of his first album. Not only did the production, which was appropriately titled Breaking Through, incorporate elements of jazz, pop, and soul music, but it also reflected Sofronio's heritage and his aspirations. The lead track from the album, Promise, which was composed by Sofronio and Michael together, became an instant smash for the musicians. The song's lyrics, which were a sincere tribute to aspirations and opportunities for redemption, struck a chord with listeners all around the world. As a result of the song rising to the top of the charts and receiving millions of streams, Sofronio's position in the music industry became more secure. Sofronio's rise to prominence, however, was not entirely based on commercial success. He remained steadfast in his dedication to making use of his platform to motivate other people. During a news conference, he discussed the ways in which Michael's guidance had influenced not only his professional life, but also his perspective on life in general. The statement that Sofronio made was, "Michael did not just teach me about music. He taught me the significance of remaining true to who I am and of giving back to the community." His assurance that he would assist me was more than just words. It was a commitment to encourage me and assist me in developing. I aspire to be an artist and a person who represents that kind of person. For the purpose of fulfilling this promise, Sofronio established a scholarship program for young musicians in his community. This program offers these individuals access to the resources and guidance that he had previously yearned for. Through the sharing of his own challenges and the encouragement of others to seek treatment, he also became an outspoken advocate for the awareness of mental health issues. The relationship between Sofronio and Michael remained strong beyond the confines of the studio, and their collaboration continued to exist. The duets that they played together at high-profile events were a celebration of the life journey that they had both taken together. Their connection was evident, and it was a monument to the mutual respect and regard that they had developed for one another. This was true whether they were singing a romantic ballad or a rousing jazz song. After some time had passed, Sofronio found himself on the platform of the Grammy Awards, where he was clutching a golden trophy that was awarded to him for being the best new artist. The moment that Michael Bublé's remarks had ignited a spark within him was the subject of his thoughts once more as he began his acceptance speech before the audience. Despite the fact that he was experiencing a surge of emotion, Sofronio maintained his composure and added, "This award is more than a personal achievement. It is a demonstration of the power that can be achieved by having faith in another person and keeping a promising promise. Michael, you have been my guide, my supporter, and my buddy throughout my life. Thank you for recognizing something in me and for assisting me in bringing it to the attention of the world." The audience erupted in applause, and when Sofronio looked down, he spotted Michael in the front row, clapping with a proud smile that conveyed a great deal of information. One could say that it was a moment that brought everything full circle, one that reaffirmed the transformational power of music and mentoring. The trip that Sofronio Vasquez had taken from a modest jazz bar in Manila to the pinnacle of international renown had been an incredible one. However, he was aware that this was just the beginning. He was prepared to meet his promise, which was to inspire, to uplift, and to create music that mattered, with Michael Bublé by his side and a world of possibilities ahead of him.